Hey there, I'm going to talk a little bit about picking out used guitars on eBay or whatever, and just selection of guitars. I'm a composer. My instruments are provided by patrons. I don't actually buy them myself, but I do pick them out. And this one is one that I got from a fella named Steve Zook. He just has a small business of cherry-picked guitars in California. He goes out and hunts out good ones from dealers and owners, and if he really thinks it sounds good, he'll grab it and he'll, make it available very inexpensively. And so we're going to just talk a little bit about, some of the challenges in selecting a guitar and what to do with it, and also give you some info on him. He's a friend of mine, and I'm a professional composer, and I played guitar since the age of 8. I haven't played it recently too much. I just got this because I didn't have one, but I do know the pitfalls of lousy guitars, lousy sounding guitars, lousy feeling guitars, lousy setup. Been in luthier shops, and every one of them was lousy. Maybe the guy was good technically, but he didn't have an ear. You got to have an ear. It's all about sound, For you to work on a guitar and make progress, certainly you need to practice the right things the right way. But when it comes to the instrument, it has to be easy to play and it has to be beautiful sounding. Because if it's not, you're not going to be playing around with that very much. It's going to hurt your hand and make the whole thing uncomfortable. It's a very tough instrument ergonomically, and you need everything in your favor. So I remember when I was a kid, like 8, my parents got me a guitar, but the shop was a bum shop, and the guitar had a badly warped classical neck, and I took it in and they said, "Oh, your parents picked that out for you and they wanted you to have it." They were ripping me off, ripping me off, and stuck a kid with a stinko guitar. Now I know what's a good guitar and what's not. I'm familiar with it now. But so let's talk a little bit about, what's up. Well, I think the first thing is, what is the sound of the instrument? And if you have a good ear, great. If you don't, get a friend that can help you to see, does it have a good sound? That's one of the downsides of a lot of eBay purchases. They don't have a sound sample for you. If they don't have a professionally made sound sample, you're not going to know what the tone is. And if you don't know what the tone is, that's a risky buy in my book, in my mind. The other thing you get into is just all the problems that can pop up in this area, the neck here, the electronics and all that. But essentially you want the strings to not buzz, as you move up the neck, but at the same time be very close so it's easy to play. Frets, you don't want them worn out. They need to be polished out nicely, or be able to be polished out easily. You don't want to see cracked stuff. Electronics have to be strong too. But I think your best bet, I've bought a lot of guitars on eBay. Some of them were pretty good and some of them weren't. I don't think the owners knew the difference, to tell you the truth. I don't think they were knowledgeable enough in, luthier work and stuff to even identify correctly what they had, whether it was good or it wasn't good. They just didn't know. So I'd say, your best bet is to have somebody else doing the vetting of guitars if you're not super knowledgeable. And the one I would recommend is this fella named Steve Zook, who's a player, a guitar player who happens to have a small business of cherry-picked, inexpensive guitars, all kinds of guitars, electric guitars, classical guitars, jazz guitars. So you can get to him if you go to his website, Steve, S-T-E-V-E, Zook, Z-O-O-K, guitars.com. And you can see the inventory he has, and you can see his guitar ladder system, which is a training program that kind of gives you a chance to put basic bar chords and stuff and just chords together in a progression that maybe is pretty to your ear, to give you a chance to start educating your ear. It's not one of those programs where he tears down, as a 1, a 3, flatted 3, and a 5, and a flatted 5, and a 7, and a 9, and an 11. And okay, I know that music theory, but it's maybe not the most accessible way for you to study. I would say your ear is principal. And a lot of the people who do real well with study of music theory actually had developed music through an aural approach, AURAL, which is the sound of music and the sound of sound. And then they go ahead and start studying what the different names are so that they can communicate with other composers and stuff. But I would say a great way to train actually is put on CDs of music you like and play along, because you got to hold the rhythm with them, you got to stand out, all the stuff that's real on stage, except the fear factor, of course, or excitement. Some people get better in front of a crowd and some get worse. It can go either way. His training program is called Guitar Ladder System. Again, it's on his website, Steve Zook, guitars.com. Then he has guitarladder.com, which is like the site on the web just for this. I go to Polkzoo, Polkzoo, because that's his YouTube channel and I see all the instruments. But let's hear this thing with a background track and you can see what I ended up with. I've only had this a couple days. I haven't played for 20 years, but I wanted a jazz box, but didn't want to have the folks who buy me stuff spend too much. So, guitar's got to be easy for you to play. Guitar has to have a beautiful tone. If it doesn't have a beautiful tone, you're not going to really love it. You won't love the music you play either. Sound is very, very important. Great way to learn music. Put on music you like, play it through a system and play along. You'll learn an awful lot of stuff that way. And you'll learn how to fit in, how to improvise, how to have some fun with it. And I'd say try and make your, one of the things I like about the guitar ladder system, it's easy. Easy. Easy's good. I just played some single notes. I haven't played for 20 years, but it sounded pretty good. Because, by the way, Wes Montgomery, the great jazz guitarist, he did a lot of single notes, and he also these octave things, interactive. It's very effective, you know, simple can be beautiful. So I'd say, you know, play along with CDs. Now, when I set up my system, I have a computer, I go to YouTube, but then I have an audio interface, Scarlett Solo, that bumps up the quality of the tone, kick it through a stereo, and it sounds very, very, very good. By the way, you may have wondered where the cord is. There's no cord on this. This is a wireless system. I don't use cords because I just don't like the feedback. I don't like anything about it. This way I can walk around and get some tea or whatever while I'm playing. But I hope some of these ideas have been helpful to you. Again, you know, the guy that I rely on to vet everything that I get that's a guitar is Steve Zook, you know. And again, his YouTube channel where you can hear his guitars is Polk Zoo. But otherwise, go to the website, you know, Steve Zook Guitars, or guitar, you know, G-U-I-T. Let's see if it's plural or single. Guitars up. Steve Zook Guitars.com. YouTube channel, Polk Zoo. I get no benefit from doing this other than helping somebody that I dig what they do. So I don't work for them or anything, and I don't get a percentage of anything. I'm not in business. I'm just a musician, composer. Good luck to you.